Hey guys, Alex here with Paragon Performance. Today we're going to be showing you how to change your front and rear rotors on your C8 Z06. This process will be the same between an iron rotor, carbon ceramic rotor, or if you are upgrading to an aftermarket one. Just be careful when you have the carbon ceramic one. Take those precautions to make sure you don't damage the new rotor. Let's get to this install. All right, little tech tip for you. Make sure you disconnect the negative terminal on your battery before doing any service with your brake components. Just helps prevent putting that car into a limp mode by accident. And then make sure you pump the pedal up and the pedal is firm before you reconnect the battery. Just save you some problems and hassles potentially when you are all done. All right, so we're gonna start up here on the front. If you did have the carbon ceramic option, you should have received a set of foam rotor protectors. They just slip on over the top of the rotor. You can also purchase a set of wheel hangers from us. We're just trying to keep the wheel from contacting the rotor. Taking a 22mm socket here, we're going to take our lug nuts off. All right, so we're going to go ahead and rotate this wheel all the way out. That just gives us access to everything over here, and I can show you what's going on a little bit better. Now on the front, the easier one to do here, we need to remove the two 21mm bolts that hold this to the spindle. And we're just going to slide the caliper off and hang it back here on the control arm. Using your T30 Torx, we're going to remove this. And just like that, OEM one's off. All right, and with the gyro discs, they are side specific, so make sure you're putting it in the correct location. A Loctite on our retaining screw. And it doesn't have to be wild tight, so just snug it up. All right, let's get the oils wiped off our rotor here. Use a little brake clean and a rag. And do the same thing on the back side. Now we're going to get our caliper put back on. Make sure you do apply some new loop blue Loctite to the bolts and torque them to factory spec. All right, for the rear, let's get started taking the wheel off. All right, first thing we need to deal with here is the parking brake caliper. I prefer to just completely remove it from the car, then you're not trying to hang it back here. It's not in your way anywhere. If your rotor is excessively worn, you will need to use a scan tool to back the parking brake off so you can slide it off the rotor, especially if it's got a big ridge out here on the edge. We will disconnect this electrical connector, remove the wire from this wire retention here. Then we're going to remove the two 15mm bolts that hold the caliper on. And we'll just be able to pull that off and set it on the floor. These actual points here slide in and out. You may need to grab it and pull it out just a little bit. So next, we've got to get the regular brake caliper off. This is two 18mm bolts here on the back. They do have a lot of Loctite on them from the factory, so they do come out hard pretty much the entire way. And the last thing, we need to remove this T30 Torx. Slide it off. All right, so the little screw we took out does have a specific hole and a specific hole on the wheel bearing. So make sure that you're getting that put back in the same place. And then just be careful with the caliper back here. And then that little screw, always put just a little bit of some blue Loctite on them. And using some brake clean, we will wipe the oil off the surface of the rotor. All right, rotor's on. Now we've got to get the brake caliper put back on here. Make sure you depress the pistons in the caliper all the way back. Just makes it easier to put on here using your favorite brake caliper piston compressing tool. Apply a little bit of some blue Loctite to the threads on the bolts that hold the caliper on, and then make sure you torque those to factory spec. Now we're going to get the parking brake put back on. Be sure to torque the bolts on that to factory spec and get your wire harness reinstalled. And there you go. There you guys have it. Pretty easy install. If you have questions about what rotor is right for you, feel free to reach out so we can get you set up with the best option for your needs. As always, like, subscribe, and comment. We'll see you guys next time.